Hello students. Today let us start with our first topic related to our subject, which is known as a fixed point representation and floating point representations. So actually our main topic is nothing but your data representations. So from your basic childhood you have came across your different types of data representations, like for example decimal data representations, fractional value, integer values. Okay, so there where you are going to represent your data in different formats. Okay, and now in our according to our computer system we will be going to follow different types of representations. Out of this our main focus will be on fixed point and floating point data representations. Now, if you are going to see this particular slide, it is nothing but it is a computer which is good at doing many different manipulations. In the previous days, we used to use our systems to perform a small addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Okay, later on these systems have been migrated and it has been adopted to perform some fractional arithmetics, like it can perform something like in terms of fractional values it is able to perform. Later on it started to computing on the analog signals. Analog signals, as you people have already studied in your SS subject. Okay, what do you mean by signal and how what is an analog signal? Okay, nowadays whenever you talk about any particular system, the input data will be always an analog data. Okay, these analog data should be converted into digital data. Okay, once it has been converted to digital data, this you will be going to go with a digital processors. So your digital processor or digital system will take the digital data, manipulate it, does the manipulation on the digital data, and it produces the results based upon our requirement. Okay, once we get this digital data, that data will be converted into the analog form. Okay, so basically this will happens in just in normal whatever the systems which you are using. Okay, now so keeping that point in the view, what the engineers have thought is nothing but when we go with an analog signals, each and every signal in a point, if from one point to another point in the axis, it has been varying from 0.001 point to 0.002. So on 0.003, next point will be 0.003. That is nothing but your decimal part, fractional part will be changing a lot. So manipulating data on the fractional part or performing any arithmetic operations on the fractional part was a difficult task for a system to perform. So they have been designing a system which can able to do that particular fractional part also. For that one we should follow certain rules and regulation. Blindly I cannot write my fractional part as it is. Okay, now let us say, let us take one small example over here. I can represent, suppose 10 point, I am having 12.56. This 12.56 I can represent it as 1.256 into 10, or I can represent it as 0.1 or 1256 into 10 to the power of 2. Okay, this is various different types of representations. Or I can also go with 125.6 divided by multiplied by 10 to the power of minus 1, or I can also write it as 1256 into 10 to the power of minus 2. These are various different types of representation. The same data, same value I can represent in different forms. So but a system, as you people know, it doesn't have its own memory to analyze that whether how it is going to manipulate that particular data. So keeping that in the point of view, they have used a standard representation technique. By using that standard representation technique, they have been representing all the digital data, fractional digital data. Okay, so in that one we do follow two types of representations. One is nothing but your fixed point representation, and the second one is nothing but your floating point representations. Now if you are going to see here, these are few images. In these few images, what is a number anyway? That means that if you see here, in this first image you have blocks, that is nothing but your wooden blocks are there, which are easily countable. I can count it easily. Whereas in the second block I am having a two threads of keychain type, so I can say the number is 2. If you are going to see in my fourth image, in the fourth image you are finding a sheeps also you can able to count it. But if you are going to see in my third image, you are finding us different stars in the sky. Is it possible to count it? How we are going to count it? It is like an infinite number. I cannot able to count it in a perfect way. So that type of things, I can able to represent, that will be shown in these representations. Now, can you think about these numbers? What is infinity? First symbol is infinity. How we are going to inform to the system that this is an infinity? Okay, the second symbol is what? Pi. Do a system knows this is a pi symbol? No. How we are going to inform to the system? Okay, so there should be a certain representation for that one. If you see here, square root of 2. How can you say that system? This is square root of 2. Square root of minus 1. It is 1 by 3. It is 1 by 6. Or this is 10 by 17. Add up to 17 times. Or something like that. So how you are going to do this? Okay, that we need to see. So let us come with what is actually you mean by a number. A number is a mathematical object used in counting and measuring. A notational symbol which represents a number is called a numerical, but in common usage the number is used for both abstract object and the symbol, as well as for the word for the number. Okay, so it is nothing but it is a notational symbol which is used to count or measure it. Commonly will be going to use for a word numbering. Okay, so this is one object where I am having two blocks in this images. Two rectangular bars are there. So it is another type of these are nothing but your different symbols, notations which we have. Okay, these are nothing but your symbols related with your traffic symbol. These are also symbols related with your symbols related with your religion. So those are nothing but your symbols. So in the previous days we don't know that what is symbol, so they have started that so and so symbol. If I draw this type of thing, it is acting as a symbol. If I draw here lines 4 sides together joined together, it will act as a square. Okay, a round line joined 2 points is known as a circle. Okay, these are different symbols they have named it in the starting days. So let us come to our topic. To be good at computer scientist, we should understand the symbols a computer uses to represent the concepts like numbers. For representing the numbers, concepts, what are the symbols it is going to use? Okay, that is important. That you should be able to know. We should understand that they are only symbols. A computer can only understand the symbols only. It will not be going to understand any different types of concepts or any numbering at all. We should know that the limitations of these symbols are there. I cannot have infinite number of symbols. I should have only fixed number of symbols, and those symbols, by going with the combination of those symbols only, we are going to build a word or numbers or some concept. Thus you should have a good idea. Coming to our fixed point representation. What do you mean by fixed point representation? A fixed point representation, if I am going to see, is nothing but inserting an implicit binary point between the two bits. Between two binary bits, if I am going to insert a point that is nothing but your binary point, then that is known as a fixed point. Bits towards the left of the point has a value greater than or equal to 1. Bits towards the right of the point will have the value less than 1. Okay, so towards the right side you will be having the less than 1 value, and towards the left side you are going to have the value greater than or equal to 1. So a point is nothing but your binary point. So in the fixed point, the problems with fixed point representation is nothing but a small range of numbers. I can have a small range of numbers. The smallest number can be 0 point something called 0, 1, 5, 6, 2, 5, and the largest number will be so and things. So these will be based upon the number of digits I am using over there. So if I am using suppose 4 digits towards my right side and 4 digits towards my left side, then the maximum value for that one will be right side. Minimum value, smallest number is 0.99999, whereas the largest number will be 49.49. Okay, so that will be a largest number. Okay, so this is nothing but based upon the number of digits, my range of my values will be differing. If you go with a fixed point, means wasted of bits. I am going to waste the bits, number of bits I am wasting here. Now if you think that let us go with a 2-digit number. If I am having a 2-digit number, suppose the 2-digit number is suppose 39.56. If I am using a number, if I am going with the 39.56, is nothing but your 2-digit number. That is a value, okay, fine. If suppose I want to represent only number 4, okay, so how I will be using 4.0. So what happens, my first digit in my left side and the right side 1 digit, both the digit values has been waste. Okay, so I am wasting a lot of bits during my representations. So my most significant digit I have wasted, and the least significant digit towards my right side also I have wasted. So that is nothing but by using my fixed point representation I am going to waste the number of bits. Now how we are going to convert to fixed point? How we are going to do? Take the fractional part and multiply it by 2. Whatever the fractional part number is there, you are going to multiply it by 2. If the result is greater than 1, then the answer is 1. If it is less than 1, that is nothing but if the result is less than 1, then the answer is 0. This is nothing but your conversion. Integer and fractional part you may have come across in the digital electronics. In the digital electronics, you have converted a decimal number into the binary number. So how you have converted your fractional number, fractional values, decimal value to the binary number. The same process we are using here. Okay, start the remaining decimal part until you get the answer as 0. Okay, let us take one small example here. Convert 0.75 to the fixed point representation. So what I will be doing, I need to take only fractional value. Fractional value, multiply it by 2. What is the answer you will be getting here? 1.5. And this 1.5 is greater than 1. Okay, so I will be keeping the value as 1. Again, in this, whatever the result which you have got it, in that result I need to take only the fractional part. What is my fractional point here? 0.5. Now multiply 0.5 into 2. What is the result you are getting here? 1.0. So what is the value I will be using here as 1. So the decimal value for this 0.7, if you are going to see here, 1.0 I have got. What happens to my fractional value? Becomes 0. So I need to stop this multiplication over here. Okay, so now the value for this 0.75 in decimal can be converted into binary. So the value will become as 0. What are my values over here? 1 1. So it becomes 1 1. Okay, this is nothing but a fixed, how we are going to convert your decimal number into fixed point representation. Okay, now when you go with the scientific notations, okay, it is widely used, this is widely used scientific notation. Okay, so now if you are going to see some number over here which has been printed on the screen over here, that is something but your minus 6.341 into 10 to the power of minus 23. If you see here, the minus sign is nothing but your most significant bit symbol. Okay, the most significant bit, if you find it as minus or positive, that is nothing but it will act as a sign bit. It says that the given number is a positive number or negative number. Now if you are going to see, the latter value is what? 6.341. This will be acting as a mantissa. That is nothing but your fixed point representation. Okay, and the values will be 1.00 to 9.999. okay, next if you see here, that into 10 is nothing but your base or radix or constant. So why? Because we are using 10 here, it is a decimal representation. 10 means a decimal representation, whereas if I write 2 over there, then it will be acting as my binary representation. If I write 8, it will be acting as my octal representation. Okay, now if you see here, to the power of 10 to the power of minus 23. What does this minus 23 is? It is acting as an exponent integer. Okay, it is acting as an exponent. So first we will be having a sign, later on we will be going to have, latter part is known as a mantissa. Next you do have a radix, a base. Next you will be going to have an exponent. This is a basic scientific notation for the fixed point representation. Now that was for decimal part. Now if you go with the binary, same thing you will be going to have. In the binary also, first what is it will be your sign bit. Later on value will be in the binary values. It will be ones and zeros, and it is known as a mantissa. Okay, but here the base, that is the radix, will be 2. Why? Because it is a binary representation, and the exponent value will should be also be a binary integer. It should not be a decimal integer. It should be a binary integer. Okay. Now what happens to a scientific notation? What are the advantages and disadvantages? Advantage is nothing but very wide range of representable numbers. You'll be having a very lot of there will be a lot of numbers can be represented. Okay, you need to represent, but there is a limited range of exponent. An exponent can be limited only for few digits only. Next is what? Similar precision for all the values. Okay, I need to go with the same type of precision for any value. So no wasted of bits. Okay, next one is, what is the disadvantages? Some values still not exactly representable. So some values like pi, this cannot be representable exactly in this fixed point representation. Okay, so this is scientific notation. Coming to our next topic, which is known as an floating point representation. If you go with a floating point representation, in this floating point representation, what happens is nothing but we will be going to follow a standard, IEEE standards. Okay, this IEEE standard is nothing but your IEEE 754 standard. Okay, in this we'll go with a binary representation. How we are going to represent this one? We'll see first one. So we will be taking a number of bits. Okay, in this, if you see here, it is a rectangular pin. The first bit, MSB bit, which is there, that will be acting as my sign bit. MSB bit will be acting as my sign bit. Later on, I will be using few of the bits which will be acting as an exponent. Later on, we will be going to use few more bits which will be acting as a mantissa. Okay, so first one bit for your sign bit, next few bits for your exponent, and the next few bits will be for your mantissa. Okay, now when I talk with my sign bit, in this sign bit, if I am writing a 0 over there, then it means it is a positive number. If I write a 1 over there, then it will be treated as a negative number. Okay, now exponent and mantissa is nothing but based upon the number which I want to represent, that we are going to write it. Okay, just now I have told you. Sign bit. Sign is nothing but 1 bit number. It is a 1 bit. If it is a 0, then it will be a positive number. If it is a 1, then it will be a negative number. So, in a floating point, it is a sign magnitude representation. I will not go with an unsigned magnitude representation. We always go with a signed magnitude representation. So, always you will be having a sign bit. If it is 0, then it is a positive number. If it is a 1, then it will be acting as a negative number. Okay. Next, what happens to my exponent? Okay. In the floating point, next part is not after sign bit, I will be having an exponent. So this exponent could be represented using the 2's complement sign notation. So we are going to use a 2's complement sign notation for my exponent. Instead, represented using bias notation. Okay. Now, represented value in exponent field is k more than intended value. Okay, whatever the value which you are going to represent in the exponent, it will be k times more when compared to the actual value. So k is nothing but a constant. Okay, and generally this constant value is nothing but a 127. The value of k constant is nothing but a 127. Okay, now if my exponent is 1, so I should, it is nothing but your 127, 1 minus 127, so the value is minus 126. I should represent minus 126 in my exponent, not as 1. If suppose my value is 127, if my value is 127, so 127 minus 127, 0. So my exponent value will become 0. Okay, the same thing for the next value also. Okay, so the exponents will be from 0, 0 to 1, 1, reserved for the special meanings. So generally in the exponent, all digit zeros and all digit ones, we will be going to reserve it for special meanings. Like all bit 0, denormalize the number and make it a 0. If all bits are 1, infinite and not a number, it is not a number, it is an infinite number, indeterminate number. So we always leave all zeros and all ones in the exponent form. If it is all zeros, we need to go with a denormalization. If it is all ones, then we need to say that it is an infinite number. Now let us take how we are going to normalize a number in the exponent. Okay, number is normalized. How we are going to do? Exponent is chosen such that 110 is less than or equal to mantissa and it is less than 2. That is nothing but your decimal 2. So what we will be doing here? If you see here, my first value is what? 110.000 into 2 to the power of minus 3. So what I have taken in the second one, 0 I have moved towards my right side. So it becomes as 11.000 into 2 to the power of minus 2. Still I have moved my point towards my left side. So it becomes as 1.1000 into 2 to the power of minus 1. Still I have moved my point towards my left side. The value becomes as 0.1100 into 2 to the power of 0. Next one is, if you are going to move, it becomes a 0.01100 into 2 to the power of 1. So on you will be going to represent. So out of all this representation, which value we need to choose? Okay, and how we are going to write it in the mantissa and how we are going to represent in the exponent, we are going to see. If you see here, all these representations are valid representation for the value called 0.75. Okay, just now we have gone with the 0.75. What is the value? We have got it as 0.11 in the binary value. Okay, the same thing, 0.11 in the binary value, how we have represented in this all this format. Okay, in this all this format we need to choose only one. We should be following the rules. So which one we are going to choose it? We need to choose the third value. If you see here, the third value we need to choose. Why we need to choose is nothing but, always keep in mind that whenever we are going with a normalization, the first point is nothing but whatever the given number is a decimal number. First you are going to convert into binary number. Once you have represented your binary number, you are going to move your decimal binary point, whatever the binary point is there, that you are going to move either towards the right side, or you are going to move towards the left side, in such a way that your integer part should be only 1. Okay, and rest all the values you are going to push it towards the fractional part. Got my point? Once again I am revising here, repeating here. I need to move my binary point in such a way that towards my integer part I should have only single 1. Rest all the digits should be thrown towards my right side part, that is nothing but your fractional part I need to move. So if you think here, if you see here, in the first one I am having 2 ones and 1 0 towards my left part, that is nothing but your integer part. So my intention is nothing but I need to push all my digits towards my right side, and only one single one should be there towards my left side, that is integer part. So in that, if you see here, if I am going to push 1 0 over there, then again 2 ones are there in my second notation. Whereas in the third notation, if you are going to see, only single 1 is there towards my integer part, whereas rest all I have thrown it towards my right part, that is fractional part. When I throw towards my fractional part, the based upon my values, the 2 to the power of, it can be a minus 1 or minus 2 or minus 3, or it can be a 2 to the power of plus 1 plus 2 plus 3. Okay, so based upon my given number. But the main intention is nothing but I need to move my binary point towards right or left in such a way that my ms bit, that is leftmost bit integer part, should be only single 1. Okay, that is nothing but your normalization. So what is my normalization value? Here it is 1.1000 into 2 to the power of minus 1. Okay, now what we will be going to do here, we will be going to find out what is my exponent, what is my mantissa value. Okay, so if I am going to represent as my fixed point value between this and this, okay, mantissa will be, values are from 1.00 to 1.111. Okay, the first bit before to the point is always 1. Don't waste a bit to store it in a number. So I am not going to use this particular 1 to store. Why? Because our intention is nothing but always it should be in terms of 1 point something. So I will not be using my 1 to store. So what happens to my fixed precision here? A fixed precision is nothing but it will be of 23 bits of available. You are going to have in the mantissa 23 bits. Okay, plus 1 implicit bit. 1 implicit bit is nothing but your 1 point is that is implicit bit. and that becomes a 24 significant bits. So a mantis are sometimes called as a significand. Okay, so to convert a fixed point representation to the floating point representation, it is one of the very important question for your final exam. Sometimes in your SAQs he will be asking you the question. He will give you some decimal number, he will be asking you a fixed point number representation, and he will be asking you to convert into floating point. What is the first step I need to do? Whatever the given decimal number is there in fixed point representation, I need to first convert it into binary number. Once I have converted into binary number, I need to do the normalization. Say step number 2 is nothing but your normalization. What do you mean by normalization? Just now I have told you, na, the binary point I need to shift either towards my right side or left side, ensuring that my integer part I should have only one, single one point something. The value should be in such a way. That is nothing but your normalization. Once you have done with your normalization, store the mantissa. Okay, drop the leading one. That is nothing but integer part is in a 1 point something. That 1 point you drop it. Whatever the fractional value is there, that you are going to write it in the mantissa. Very simple, no? So you are going to write it in the mantissa. Now you are done with the mantissa. Fine. Next, what I need to go with the exponent also. What I need to do in step number 4, I for the exponent add 127 to the exponent and store. So what you are going to do? Whatever the 2 to the power of something value you have got it after doing the normalization, for that number you are going to add 127. If I add it 127, whatever the value which you have got it, convert that value into the binary format and keep it in the exponent block. Okay, so later on, what is the last step will be step number 5 is nothing but gathering all the things. First one is your sign bit. What is the given number? Is a positive number or negative number? If it is a positive number, then it should be a 0, or if it is a negative number, the value should be 1. Later on, exponent. This exponent value is nothing but by step number 4 you have got some binary exponent value that you need to place it over there. Next is nothing but your mantissa. Mantissa you will be getting from your step number 3. So from the step number 3 you are going to store the mantissa. This is nothing but your complete conversion of your fixed point to floating point representation. Okay, let us take one small example and let us see over here. Let us take one small example and we will see that how you are going to convert a fixed point representation to the floating point representation. Let us take an example. The example is nothing but your minus 1.40625 is a decimal number into 10 to the power of 13. Okay, so what we need to do here, that should be first converted into binary value. How we are going to convert into binary value? A binary value is nothing but, integer part should be divided by 2, whereas your fractional part should be multiplied by 2 unless you get to 0 as your fractional part. Clubbed all the integer part of your values, you will be getting your binary number. Okay, once you get your binary number, if you see here, into 10 to the power of 13, in the symbol 10 is there, that you should replace it by 2. That's it. That becomes as 2 to the power of 13. So now what is my binary representation for the given number? It is 1.01101 and to the base 2 into 2 to the power of 13 is nothing but your binary representation. Now how we are going to represent in the floating point representation? What is my first digit? First digit is nothing but your sign bit. A sign bit is just, if it is 0 means positive number, if it is 1 means negative number. Okay, what is my in the example, what is the question here given you? It is nothing but your minus 1.40625. Minus 1 point, minus means minus, negative symbol. So what happens to your sign bit? It becomes a 1. Okay, next comes to the exponent part. Okay, if you see here in the exponent, what is my 2 to the power of, what is the value I am having? 13. 13 is nothing but your decimal number. So what I need to do, I have told you in the previous steps, I need to add 127 to my exponent. So 13 plus 127, what is my value here? It is 140. Okay, now this 140 I am going to express it in terms of binary. You know how to convert a decimal number into binary. That binary value you are going to place it in the exponent value. Okay, always keep it in mind that the exponent, the number of bits should be always 8 bits representation. Okay, exponent should be of 8-bit representation. For example, in this calculation of exponent, if I got the value as 1100, then I need to append all 0 towards my left side. Okay, and to make it as an 8-bit number. Okay, later on what happens? My mantissa. What is my mantissa? Whatever the fractional value, whichever I got it in the binary representation, that as it is I need to place it. So what it is, what is the value I got it? 1.01101. So I need to take fractional value. What is my fractional value? 01101. That is the value. Next I need to append all the zeros. Okay, this number of zeros, which how many I need to append it? That should be 23 bits. Okay, so this is nothing but how we are going to convert a fixed point representation into the binary point representation. Okay, so in this representation, we generally floating point representation, we do have two types of precisions. One is single precision and the second one is nothing but your double precision. So these blocks will sign exponent and mantissa will remain as it is only, but the number of bits present in exponent and mantissa will change from single precision to double precision. That we'll see. Now what happens here, that is nothing but your floating point will be having a various sizes. Okay, the first one is nothing but your 32 bits of representation. This is known as a single precision. In single precision, what happens? 1 bit for your sign bit, 8 bits for your exponent. Okay, 8 bits for your exponent, and remaining 23 bits will be for your mantissa. Okay, so totally it is nothing but it will be acting as my 32-bit number. Whereas in the double precision, which is nothing but your 64 bits, in that case 1 bit, first bit will be of one single bit for your sign bit, and for exponent 11 bits, and for mantissa we will be going to have 52 bits. Okay, so this is something for double precision. If I am going to go with a long double precision, then 1 bit for the sign bit, 15 bits for your exponent, and 64 bits for your mantissa. So this is nothing but your total 80 bits, which is nothing but your long double. Okay, so on the whole, single precision 32 bits, double precision is nothing but your 64 bits, and long double precision is nothing but your 80 bits. So what we are changing here, exponent will be 8 bits, 11 bits for your double precision, and 15 bits for your long double precision, and the remaining all bits you need to go with a mantissa. So fractional part as it is, and then you are going to add a zeros towards this one. Okay, so this is nothing but your floating point representation. So in today's class we have seen what is fixed point representation, what is floating point representation, how we have converted a fixed point representation into the floating point representation by using the IEEE 754 standard. Okay, in SAQ it compulsory they'll ask you the question, they'll give you some fixed some decimal fixed point representation number, and they will be asking you to convert into floating point representation using a standard known as an IEEE 754. So I am just revising you what are the steps you are going to follow. First, the given fixed point representation I need to convert it into binary representation. Once we get the binary value, Second step number is nothing but I need to do the normalization. What do you mean by normalization? Is nothing but moving the binary point towards my right side or left side in such a way that my integer part I should have only single one. Okay, I should represent in terms of 1 point something. So based on that one, the exponent values will be going to change. Okay, once we get this normalized value, I need to keep it in the format. Okay, in the format, the first bit will be a sign bit. In the fixed point representation, if it is a positive number or negative number, based on that one, your sign bit will be 0 or 1. Okay, and next will be your exponent. Okay, now if based upon the question, if he says in the single precision or double precision format, based upon that one I need to go with the single precision or double precision exponent format. Generally he will ask you single precision only, and maximum time he won't specify the precision. If at all he specifies a precision, then simple thing is nothing but your exponent will be of 8 bits for your single precision. For your double precision, the exponent value will be of your 11 bits. Okay, what we need to do here is nothing but we have got in the conversion, you have got something 2 to the power of something exponent value. For that value you are going to add 127 plus 127. Whatever the value which you have got it, that you are going to represent it in terms of your binary value, and that binary value I need to write it in the exponent block. Ensure that in the exponent block there should be only 8 bits. Okay, there should not be more than 8 bits. Whereas if it is a double precision, I need to go with 11 bits. And one more point, sorry I forgot to tell you, when you represent in terms of double precision, you are going to add 1023 to the given number, exponent number, not 127. You are going to add 1023. Why? Because it is a 11-bit representation. So whatever the value, whichever you got it, again convert it into binary and place it in the exponent. Later on, you are going to represent your mantissa. Mantissa is nothing but your fractional value, whichever you have got it from the conversion of your decimal to binary number. Okay, that you need to write it. And next you need to add zeros. The number of zeros which you are going to add it is based upon the single precision or double precision. If it is single precision, the total number of bits should be in the mantissa should be 23 bits. If it is a double precision, then you should have 52 bits you should going to have in the mantissa. That many zeros you need to append it. Okay, it is very easy. You solve 2 to 3 problems, then you can have a good idea about that one. Okay, thanks for today's session. In the next class we will be starting with our next topic.